Do you really need to change? Well, most of us think, of course I do. I need to be more disciplined, more patient, and better at life. But what if I told you the problem isn't about trying harder to change yourself? It's about you learning to live from. You see, surface fixes, whether in finances or even in marriage, never last. Because the real issue is always spiritual. Until the root changes, the struggles keep coming back. The good news? Christ didn't come to make you try harder. He came to live life through you. And that's where real transformation happens. Welcome back to Life as God Intended. I'm Don Brzezinski. And in today's topic, we're talking about, do you need to change? Let's be honest, this adulting thing isn't easy. Anyone else feel you're just learning as you go? So to speak, learning on the job? We all have a way of approaching life. It's like a filter that shapes how we make decisions, how we react when things get tough, and even how we see ourselves and others. But here's the critical truth. Your approach to life always reveals your source. And whether we realize it or not, our source is either God or Satan. There's no such thing as being an independent self. That's the biggest lie humanism ever sold us. The idea that you can be your own little God. So you may ask, why do we do what we do? Well, let's get practical. Take finances. Maybe money's tight and you think, I'll just cut back on Amazon orders. And sure, that might help for a while, but it doesn't fix the deeper issue. Why? Because the real problem isn't what you spend, it's why you spend in the first place. And marriage works the same way. A lot of couples think their struggles are because of poor communication. I hear that all the time in the counseling office. Or because of their differing personalities. But just like finances, those are surface issues. The real issue is much deeper. It's spiritual. Until a husband and wife understand why they fight, withdraw, or push each other's buttons, they'll never resolve their conflict. Changing what you do without changing why you do it is like trimming weeds without pulling up the roots. They always grow back. We need to transition from fear to faith. Think about this past year in your life. How many of your decisions were driven by fear? You know, fear of failure, fear of not having enough, fear of repeating the same past mistakes. But fear always drives us into self-effort, trying harder. And the only cure for fear is faith. And faith isn't you striving to believe harder. Faith is simply receiving Christ as your source. Grace is God's action, and faith is your receptivity to His activity. And that's how fear gets silenced. We need to allow the Lord to give us a new mindset from doing it alone to participating with Christ in us. And with that thought, here's another shift. Most of us live with the myth of independence, whether we realize it or not. I've got to figure this out on my own. But Philippians 2:13 says, listen to what it says, "It is God which worketh in you both to will and to do," don't miss it, "His good pleasure." This isn't about you figuring it out. This is about participating with Him and how He wants to live and express His life through you in these particular circumstances. Christ in you is the one who lives His life through you. At least that's the Christian life. That's the Christ life so many of us are missing. He's not asking you to perform. He's inviting you to participate. You see, that defines the uniqueness of you. You really don't understand who you are apart from experiencing Him as your life. And this is so freeing. God isn't asking you to erase your uniqueness. He's designed you with that uniqueness. Maybe you're quiet and thoughtful. Maybe you're bold and outspoken. Maybe you're full of energy and excitement. These traits aren't bad in and of themselves. But when fueled by the flesh, they turn selfish. When infused by Christ, they become beautiful expressions of His life. The church isn't made up of clones. It's made up of unique Jesus people like you, each one reflecting Him in a distinct way. So, do you need to change? The truth is, not in the way the world thinks about change. Real transformation doesn't come from surface fixes. It comes when you stop trying to live for God. You heard me right. Stop trying to live the Christian life and start living from God, who is your life. You see, when Christ is your source, the surface issues, whether it's finances, marriage, or daily struggles, begin to align with the reality of His sufficiency. That's life as God intended. If you'd like to dive deeper into this, I want to point you to my Life as God Intended 3-volume workbook series. In Volume 1, Free to Be in Christ, you'll find chapters like identifying the real problem, the conflict between flesh and spirit, which really dig into what we've been talking about today. In Volume 2, Free to Relate in Christ, you'll discover how this truth applies directly to marriage and to relationships. Chapters like Made for Each Other and Marriage as God's Means of Completion are great resources. Free to Live in Christ, you'll explore how to walk this out daily with chapters like The Battle for the Mind and Are You Distracted from What Really Matters? These volumes are designed to help you go deeper, not with surface fixes, but with root reality of Christ as your life. And yes, they're written for the average individual. These are not exclusive to counselors or to therapists or to teachers. This is written for the everyday Christian. Do you need to change? Not by trying harder, not by surface fixes. Real transformation happens only when Christ is your source. That's life as God intended. If this spoke to you, share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to share these videos with your friends. Until next time, walk in dependence upon what He's doing in you and experience the outlived life of Jesus Christ.